Stevenson versus Teófimo López. It was an elite showdown, a lot of jabs thrown. It seemed like it was dominance on one end of the floor or the ring, I guess, for the entire time. But what do
Absolutely
I
it
know?
was.
Well, that's why we brought the expert in. As always, we're joined by 𝐵𝓍𝒾𝓃𝓰 𝒫𝒪🱉, professional analyst and someone who understands what it actually takes to solve problems in the ring. And that's exactly what Lopez ran into the other night. And that jab, to start out with that, I mean, what did you see? Was this exactly what you expected, Denise? Because you predicted that Shakur Stevenson would win this fight.
I did predict that Shakur would win the fight. Now, did I think that it would be as dramatic as he wanted it? Absolutely not. I thought that Teofimo Lopez would definitely come in more prepared for this fight, and he would actually be able to give more of himself in this fight, which is definitely did not happen. I mean, he definitely had no answers for Shakur Stevenson. I mean, none. He had no answers for the jab. He didn't do anything. Anything that the father, Teofimo Lopez's father, Teofimo Sr., said that everything that they actually was doing in boot camp never came to fruition in the fight. His power was gone. He didn't protect himself. He wasn't, protecting himself from the jabs. It was just crazy. I mean, Shakur Stevenson literally outboxed Teofimo Lopez. He outboxed him, he outjabbed him, he had more speed, his footwork was better, his ring IQ was off the charts. I mean, this fight really showed Shakur Stevenson's ring IQ and the fact that he is really an excellent boxer, for those of you who didn't know before now.
And it's not like he really had to change his style up. It seemed like
No.
adjustments never came. You
No,
mentioned
not
that his father said that they weren't doing what they had practiced. Why didn't they make the adjustments mid-fight? Why didn't he stop that jab that was just beating on him the entire night?
exactly. And that's what we're all trying to figure out. I mean, if you when you watch the fight, if you saw throughout throughout, when he went back to his corner, his dad was kind of screaming at him like someone screams at their child. He's like, "Where's your power? What happened?" He was just like screaming at him. He wasn't telling him, "Okay, cut the ring off, block this jab." When he puts his left hand down, that way you can get him. He didn't do any of that. There was no direction at all. All he was telling him was that you're going to hate yourself in the morning. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. Where's your power? Stop getting hit. It was kind of very amateur. It was like it was an amateur hour. It was kind of hard for me to actually believe that I was watching Teofimo Lopez and his camp doing this fight. It was really, it was confusing to me as a spectator. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I mean, they had no answers for Shakur Stevenson. And Shakur, after the fight, he said all he did was go according to what he studied. He knew him from the amateur, so he's known him for a while. But he said that I just studied the tapes. That's it. All me and my team did was study the tape, and there was nothing new there. So he didn't have to adjust to anything. It was
So,
Teofimo who needed to do the adjustment, and he couldn't do it.
we talked about earlier. I kind of said it when I brought you on how the jab won the fight. I don't
Right.
have the eyes that you do. Was it the speed? Was it the angles? Or was it the fact that essentially Teo's reaction?
It was a combination of all. It was a combination of the speed, the footwork, the jabs, all put together, and Shakur's ring IQ. Like I was saying, he studied Teofimo, and Teofimo's style hasn't changed. So it was kind of it's essentially like Teofimo. I mean, I'm sure they looked at Shakur's. They know Shakur from the amateurs. I'm sure they looked at his tapes, but I didn't see them doing anything to adjust in the ring. When you're a boxer and when you're boxing, okay, we've seen this a lot of time as fans, as analysts, when these boxers go out there and they're seeing something that's different, they normally can go back to their corner and the corner tells them how to adjust. And, like a Gervonta Davis, he knows how to adjust on his own because his ring IQ is just so high. Another one is Floyd Mayweather. He knows how to adjust on his own. His corner helps him, but they know how to adjust on their own. And essentially, if a boxer doesn't know how to adjust, the corner normally tells them exactly what to do. And in this instance, we did not see that at all. And then, one of actually, I posted one of Teofimo Lopez's, his father's comments. I posted his post interview, and the whole time he was blaming the media. He was saying that it was because every time he turned on social media had nothing good to say about him. They were always bashing him. Everybody had Shakur to win the fight. So basically, what the dad was saying was that Teófimo kind of got in his own head that he was going to lose because of what everybody else was saying, including the media, and kind of like blaming the media, you know, and
I mean
which is
that
really
to me just
crazy.
blaming an outside force like that, I think it's a major red flag because
Yeah,
boxing is so mental. For him to just
right.
outright admit that the reason was the pressure got to his head, the
Right,
haters
that's what he was
online got
saying. He
his
was
head.
like, I think that the pressure kind of got to him, and it's all got to him in a fight because I really don't know what happened. Everything that we really tried to do didn't come to fruition in this fight, and we have to go back to the drawing board, and maybe he'll move up to 147. He really didn't know. He had no answers as to what actually happened himself. So his default was to blame the media and to blame social media, the media, for saying that his son was gonna fight was gonna lose the fight, and to saying that his son didn't have a chance against Shakur Stevenson. When you think about people that the media actually, you saw them literally hating on, like Floyd Mayweather. Like they always hated on Floyd, and Floyd would use that as fuel to win all his fights. And even if you take it back even further, Muhammad Ali, people would show up to Muhammad Ali's fights just so they can see him get knocked out, and he would use that as fuel. So I don't know. Teofimo Lopez, he's been known to have mental health issues and struggle with that. And that's really a problem for, all of us, and definitely a problem for boxers. So, that it definitely could have played a part. But for what we saw as spectators and me as a boxing analyst, seeing the dad just have no answers for Shakur when he came back, to his corner, that really to me played a major, key and a major reason why he lost the fight. And I had probably over 300 comments on my boxing POV on that actual interview that his dad did. And the biggest comment was saying that he needs to get a new trainer. And that's something that also, like, do these boxers outgrow their childhood trainers? It seems
I
that they
mean,
do.
he came pretty far with his father in his corner, right? That's only
Right,
his second loss ever. World
right,
class fighter. So I
right.
would say maybe look at some adjustments that could have been made to go and blame social media. Like you said, maybe he's got mental health issues. But this
Yeah.
is where, and I've said it before, I'd rather my professional athletes not know how to read and write, or at least not know how to read and write English. You look at the greats like Shohei Ohtani in baseball, not distracted by the BS that goes down on social media. Floyd Mayweather couldn't read an insult if you threw one at him.
Oh,
So
stop it. He
I,
knows how to read.
whatever. Look, I'm hoping he does it for the sake of us fans. We want these guys to just focus on fighting and focus on what
Hmm.
they're great at, not the outside noise. So that's a
Right.
perfect example. So that being said, as we wrap things up, Danique, and send them over to my boxing point of view, if you were in his corner, in Tio's corner, what would you have instructed him to do as he's getting outclassed and essentially outplayed in this chess match of boxing? What adjustments would you have made?
I mean, to be honest, he really needed to work on his footwork. He needed to work on blocking those jabs. It was so many different things that Teofimo could have done that we didn't see happen. And you kind of see it on his face after the fight, where you see, he just didn't look good after the match at all. I mean, he had like, he just looked like he had been through it. He looked like he had really, really been through it. But I was really happy to see Shakur win. I would like to see either one of them win, but I was happy to see Shakur win. Essentially, the final score was 119 to 109. You did see Teo throwing punches, but you didn't see him landing any. So I think he landed 79 punches, and Shakur landed over 175. So, it was really a big difference there. But ultimately, Shakur Stevenson became a four division world champion, and he has four titles in different weight classes, which is great for his resume. He already held the WBO, and I mean, he added the WBO, and he already held the WBC. So, this is a really great start to Shakur. His famous, for him being famous in boxing. He was already known throughout the sport of boxing for boxing fans. But now I feel like he's getting to be more of like a household name. And at the end of the match, he was definitely Conor Ben jumped into the ring and he wants to challenge Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson said it would be a great fight, so let's see if that happens. That would probably take place over the pond, over there in the UK, and that would be a really great fight to see.
So at this point, what do you think Shakur Stevenson's ceiling is in terms of his legacy? He's off to a great start, like you mentioned. Do you see him being a top five fighter of all time? What is the cap
I
for how
definitely
far
see
he's going
him
to go?
being, he's well on his way to being a pound for pound list. And he's definitely well on his way to being a Hall of Famer. I definitely can see Shakur Stevenson in the Hall of Fame if he keeps on the road that he's on the road to now, and he's off to a great start. I've always been watching him. I've been watching him since he turned pro. He's under Terrence Crawford. They're good friends, and Terrence Crawford always gives him good advice and things of that nature. Keyshawn Davis was also on the card. He did great. He had a knockout. So that was great, and I would love to see Keyshawn Davis. I can't wait to see him back in the ring as well. He's another one who's a great boxer.
I'll say this: it was a wig or a toupee that stole the show.
Oh my God, big baby Jerome Miller,
Oh my god! Well, I gotta ask before we head out, what were your thoughts on watching
viral.
that toupee get knocked off his head? I'm a
Oh
fan of
my
Big
God,
Baby.
when I saw that happen real time, I said, "Oh my God, is that his hair coming off?" Like it kind of looked, it was just like very. I've never seen anything like that before. I've seen the man wigs on YouTube, so I know what they are. And I never really thought it was a problem if guys wanted to wear man wigs, to make yourself look more youthful or whatever. It's cheaper than going to Turkey and getting hair implants or whatever. But it's something that went viral. It was hysterical. I love the fact that he was a good sport. He ripped it off, and got right back out there, and he actually won his fight. So shout out to Big Baby for winning his fight. The next day, he was on the Breakfast Club, and they spoke about it. They actually said that his barber charged him $700 for that, which was really crazy. I mean, if you just think about like the mechanics of your head and wigs, he had a bald head, so obviously when you fight, you emit heat, and heat leaves your body through your head. So I guess it kind of just melted the glue. I don't know. And when he got hit with that punch, that that it just came on. It just lifted, which was crazy. But I'm glad. He said he's got a lot of DMs. From different hair care products and I guess different wig companies. So I would like to see, Big Baby really capitalize off of this
Oh,
because
he
it
will.
was
I
definitely
actually
hysterical. It was
shouts to
hysterical.
big shout out to Miss Adrian Russo, a shared and mutual friend of both Big Baby and myself, who's probably going to help him land a Head and Shoulders commercial or something. I thought at first that it was the Turkish procedure where they take the scrotum and sew it on top of your
Oh, the
head, but
hair implants. Yeah.
the hair implant, but then a closer look, I was thinking about that, the old scrotum to the head thing. But at a closer look and seeing that toupee, yes, it was indeed a toupee. You might as well just pull the Charlie Brown at that point and just take the permanent marker and just
Oh
have
my
at it.
God. You know what's so funny? That he has a good head for it to be bald. Like if he wanted to be bald, he wouldn't look bad bald. So he could have just left his hair bald. But people he said that he was stressed out and his hair kind of fell out and he had hair. But then he said just for this fight, he's like, you know what, let me just get my hair put on because his barber had the installs in place. So he said he was gonna do it. But listen, it made a viral moment, and we're probably talking about him a lot more now than we were before. His toupee fell off, so it actually is making him famous. And he had a Breakfast Club interview, like I said. He had a numerous amounts of businesses reach out to him. So hey, I hope he makes millions off of it.
I maybe he did it on purpose. If he was and he's clearly not a dumb guy, right? I mean, if he's going
No,
to
not at all.
capitalize like this, it would be interesting to see if he'd maybe done it. One of the new boxing conspiracies that we can talk about. Did he do it on
Hey, going
purpose? Did he
viral,
loosen
viral
that wig up?
moments,
Yeah, I mean that's what it's all
viral
about.
moments in
That's
boxing. I like that one.
a multi-million dollar mistake, or was it? Danique Liddell is in studio, and you must follow her. My boxing point of view across the boards. My boxing POV for all social media handles. Appreciate you always, Danique, and we'll be having you up at Fox Sports Rochester very, very soon. But until then, thank you very much. Everybody go give her a follow. Danique, any last words for these listeners out there?
Not really. The only thing that we do have a few upcoming fights, but the most recent upcoming fights to look forward to in February is Mario Barrios versus Ryan Garcia, which is going to be a really excellent fight, and also Carissa Shields versus Cruz is going to be on the next day on February 22nd. So those
I
are the
was going to
two
hope you were
fights
going to
that we
say
have to
Remy
look
Ma.
forward to.
I'm trying to see that Remy Ma Clarissa Shields fight, but hey, maybe one of these
We'll
days.
probably we'll probably never see that.
No, not unless it's outside of a ring and involving weapons, and that's not what we want to see go down. But Danique,
Definitely not.
thank you as always. Everybody stay tuned. We've got more sports coming your way for hour 3 of the Ryan Show FM. Don't go nowhere. We shall return soon.